Well, hey there, it's Jen, and welcome to another episode of the Creative and Ambitious Entrepreneur Podcast. And today I'm going to be talking about how when you believe in yourself and you have confidence in yourself, everything in your life and business changes. So I've got my notes here, and I just want to read them out to you really quickly to tell you what we're going to be talking about, and then we'll dive right in. All right. So, first of all, when you start to believe in yourself and you have the confidence to accomplish your goals and actually think that it's possible for you to get to a place in your life that you want to get to, then everything starts to change and you start to make more conscious efforts and actions to get there. Sometimes we don't believe in ourselves because either our past history or things that have happened to us, or even just the family dynamic that we've grown up in. And sometimes we actually don't believe in ourselves, and those things and those negative thoughts are negatively affecting our lifestyle and also our business. And it's just because we think that we can't accomplish it. It's not that we cannot actually accomplish it. It's that we're putting these limiting beliefs and limiting factors onto our own capabilities in our lifestyle and in our business. And we want you to understand that you can definitely change those. It doesn't have to be that way. You can have more confidence in yourself and you can actually accomplish your goals. I'm never able to make any income claim statements. And obviously myself and Elka, we teach people how to make money online through Zazzle, through our courses and our coaching. But when you start to believe in yourself, you start to take more actions and start to do the things that you actually want to do. And then once you get those endorphins going or actually reach a certain goal, then you feel more even better about yourself. And then you push yourself further and try and get to a higher goal, which is awesome. So whether it be in your Zazzle business, your online business, whether it be a lifestyle, anything like that, when you start to believe in yourself and have the confidence, everything starts to change and you act differently in your life. So the first point that I want to cover is that self-sabotage is directly linked to self-confidence. And then I'm going to be talking about how self-confidence is key. And for both of those points, I'm going to be giving you an exercise that you can do so that you can change the negative thoughts that you might be having. And I'm also going to talk to you a little bit about my story and my experience and why I feel so confident talking about this topic, because I have actually been there and gone through many things in terms of self-doubt, very low self-confidence, low self-esteem, all of those things that are associated with moving forward in your life and becoming sort of, let's say, a better person and accomplishing our goals. So I had these personal experiences. So if you ever have a connection with what I talk about, it would be lovely to hear from you, because we can relate on the same level, right? When you speak to somebody who might not have the same experiences as you have had in the past and they give you advice, sometimes it's a bit frustrating because you would think, well, they've never been in my position or they don't know what they're talking about. And so I only talk about really the topics that I'm comfortable talking about because I've been through certain situations that might relate to a certain situation that you may be going through. And then the third point that I want to cover is when you start to believe in yourself, everything changes, and we can talk about how you might possibly start to live your dream life and what that might do for you going forward. Okay. So first point here, self-sabotage is linked to self-confidence. And if you don't know what self-sabotage is when you aren't, let's say, consciously sabotaging yourself in terms of saying, let's talk about I'm not talking about physically hurting yourself, but self-sabotaging in terms of not doing something proper for your business, or not taking, the action, or not investing in yourself to learn more, or doing things like that, or not doing the research. You're just doing what you think is right, but you're self-sabotaging in a way that's subconscious because you're not actually changing anything. You're just doing something that's probably the same thing over and over again, or your negative thoughts or things that might be giving you that low self-confidence are actually affecting your decision-making. So you might say, oh, well, I don't need to, let's say, take a class or learn more about this topic because I'm never going to be good at it because I don't have the confidence in doing well. Let's say, for example, Photoshop or any type of design, if you're designing on Zazzle, or any type of business classes or courses. I know that a lot of our clients who have come into the Profit by Design Academy, they have struggled a lot with some self-confidence issues and actually thinking if they're able to do the course, because is it actually worth it? Like, are they going to be able to implement the work and do the right thing for their business? And so a lot of our clients have struggled with that at the beginning before they actually invest in themselves. And after they invest in themselves, they're extremely happy because they realize that they made the right decision. But at the beginning, they were self-sabotaging. It's a lot of sort of, not let's say mind games, but you're in a certain situation in your life where you think that you're making the right decision, or that you're you're not making a decision because it's not worth it, let's say. And unfortunately, this affects a lot of us because sometimes we think, oh, well, I'll never be good at that, or so many people are better at it than me, or I'm not able to learn. It's too late. There are too many people who are already doing it. Or, a lot of people have self-confidence issues with tech issues. A lot of our clients come into the online space and we have to help them through certain tech issues that they might have, because obviously we are creating an online business. But if you're afraid, like deathly afraid of tech and technology, then that's a huge hurdle for you to overcome. And so at the beginning, you might actually shy away from creating an online business because you're scared of tech, right? And so we want to make sure that you understand that, yes, you might have that fear of technology or whatever it may be, but that fear doesn't define who you are. And it's all related to your self-confidence and how you're self-sabotaging yourself, because you might be consciously not taking the right decisions or taking actions for the betterment of, let's say, your lifestyle or your business. And I never want to offend anybody when I talk about this subject. I'm not saying that you're not doing the right things. What I'm saying is that you might be actually in a mindset where you feel like you're not able to do it just for whatever reason. And I know that I've been in that position, and so I can confidently talk about that. I had a very horrible life event happen to me. My father passed away in 2015. Quite suddenly. And so afterwards, I was just in shock. And a huge life event like that can change the way that you perceive things and the way that you think that you're capable of doing things. I had these weird thoughts where I wasn't going to be able to do anything because, my father just passed away. So that means that any type of decision I make in the future really has no effect on my future, because, people just are going to pass away. And what's the point of actually creating something for your life if at the end it's taken away from you? And I know that's very morbid and very sad, but it's a very real thought that I had in my head, thinking that I wouldn't be able to accomplish anything before I passed away. And so why make any type of, decision going forward, because it's never going to make a difference. And so I had to really get over that hurdle of making myself feel like I was able and capable of doing something in my life before I passed away, right? And so I would self-sabotage, where I would not open my computer for days on end. I actually stopped working on Zazzle for about, I want to almost say around 3 years. Where I physically couldn't do anything. And every time I opened my computer, I had anxiety. I kept on having these weird thoughts in my head, being like, well, you've been out of the game for so long. There are so many designers online now. You're never going to make a difference. Your store's lost, all these thoughts. But even so, I was thinking those things, and thankfully, I set my store up properly using the 5 strategies that we teach in the Profit by Design Academy. I was able to not work on my Zazzle store for that amount of time and still make my money and my monthly earnings that I needed and expected. And so although there's twofold here, I'm not saying that you can't work on Zazzle and you'll still make money. I'm saying that what I did was, thankfully, I had set up my store properly and actually had the confidence and invested in myself before these negative thoughts came into my head, so that I was able to actually, ride through the wave. But what I want to say is that those 3 years that I lost, I could have been doing something a lot more productive and probably even, shot my business up even further than I did now and have done since then. I started out on Zazzle in 2007, late 2007, 2008. And so I had those couple of years to build my Zazzle business. But if you're just coming into an online space right away, thinking these negative thoughts or having these self-confidence issues, then we want to attack those right away. And by attack, I don't mean in a rude or mean sense. It's just, we want to help you feel good about yourself so that you feel like you're confident enough to accomplish the things that you want to accomplish. Because I know firsthand what it feels like to be in a deep, deep, dark depression. And although there's a wide spectrum of depression and anxiety and fear and all those things, here we're talking about confidence and how you feel going forward. And having low self-confidence or believing in yourself, let's say, can result into having that sort of depression on little, excuse me, on little mini bits. Because if you're not able to have that self-confidence, then you put yourself down all the time. And putting yourself down all the time, or not putting yourself up, let's say, and make it the opposite, that leads to, feeling not good about yourself. And so you want to get out of that little, let's say, funk or whatever it might be, because you are capable of whatever you want to be capable of, as long as you put in the work and you take the time to believe in yourself. Okay. So I want to ask you a quick question. If you gave your business 100% of the effort and gave yourself 100% of self-confidence and self-love, where would your business be and what would it look like? Where would it be in 3 months from now, in 6 months from now, in a year from now, right? If you gave it your all and just said, everything I'm going to do is for the business, and properly investing in myself and taking those conscious efforts and making, intentional decisions, what would my business and my life look like 3 months from now, 6 months from now, and a year from now? Okay. It's a little exercise that you want to do, is just write it down and journal it and say, this is what it would look like. If 100% of everything went perfectly, then this is what it would look like. And an exercise for that is to journal, but then also to do a little vision board. Pinterest is wonderful for that because you can create images, save images to certain boards. Or if you're more of a physical type person, you can create a little collage board by cutting out pictures and things like that, and have that right in front of you whenever you're working, or on your desk or on the wall or something like that, so that you can see it and have that good, those good vibes come to you every time that you open up your computer, or even whenever you wake up in the morning, because that will really help you. So I think we've established that self-confidence is key. And I want to now ask you, do you think that you can accomplish this? When you think about where you are right now, do you have 100% confidence, or could you work on it? I'm not saying that you need to be in a deep, dark depression like I was to, realize that confidence is key, or believing in yourself is key. But when you say, hey, maybe I could actually believe in myself a little bit more, I'm not bad right now, but I could be better. That's what I want you to think about right now. So I already told you my story about my self-confidence issues and believing in myself. I did not believe in myself at all. I never thought that I would be capable of doing anything. And it really hurt me, my lifestyle, and also my business. Thankfully, in terms of hurting my business, I could have done a lot better. As I mentioned, I had set up everything properly so that I was still making money and I didn't have to worry, but I could have done a lot better and taken that time to ramp my business up even more, okay, by investing in myself and believing in myself. And so when you start to believe in yourself, things can start to change. You wake up in the morning with an extra spring in your step. You start to think more about the possibilities and things that you could implement and do, right? If you had X amount of dollars more each month, what would that give you? Would that give you, the lifestyle that you wanted or what you needed? And so you can start to dream and really think of the possibilities going forward. And when you're in that positive mindset of believing in yourself, those things just start to subconsciously come to you. You don't have to make an effort to think about things that you could do. It would just be like, hey, wouldn't that be awesome? And then you get right into it and you start implementing it. The wheels start turning in your head a lot faster, and you start having those good vibes and those good feelings. And let's say I even get butterflies in my stomach where I'm like, this could happen, right? This is something that I want. So I want you to feel like that. And I really hope and wish that this podcast episode has given you some sort of insight into that believing in yourself. I know that sometimes it's very hard. It can be quite difficult, but if you just take that one step further and start to say something good about yourself and believe in yourself more, then you'll start to see things change. One last exercise that I want to give you before I wrap up this podcast episode is every morning or every night, if possible, it doesn't have to be every single day, but when you wake up or before you go to bed or at midday, go into an area in your room that has a mirror, bathroom, kitchen, wherever, and stand in front of the mirror and say something, just one thing. It doesn't need to be a million things, just one thing that's good and positive about yourself. It can be tangible, so physical, or it can be intangible. It doesn't need to be, oh, I'm beautiful or whatever. It can be, you are extremely smart, or you have amazing design skills. You have awesome, mathematical skills, whatever you want it to be, or it can be just like, you picked a really nice outfit today. You look great. Whatever you want it to be. And then so you can make yourself feel good and believe in yourself that, hey, I have the confidence, you roll your shoulders back, stand up straight, and now you can take on the day. Okay. So thank you so much for listening to this podcast episode for the Creative and Ambitious Entrepreneur Podcast. And I will see you in the next episode. Bye.